Okay, good afternoon. Our lecture for today, the topic is interaction design for week 12. The aims, okay, explain the key concepts and terms used in evaluation, introduce different types of evaluation methods, show how different evaluation methods are used for different purposes and different stages of the design process and in different contexts of use. Show how evaluator mix and modify methods to meet the demands and evaluating novel system. Discuss some of the challenges that evaluators have to consider when doing evaluation. Lastly, illustrate how methods discussed in chapter 7 and 8 are used in evaluation and describe some methods that are specific to evaluation. Why, what, where, and when to evaluate. The iterative design and evaluation is a continuous process that examines why, to check users' requirements and that they can use the product and they like it. What, a conceptual model, early prototypes of a new system that later more complete prototypes, where in natural and laboratory settings, when throughout a design, finished products can be evaluated to collect information to inform new products. So what are the possible tools for evaluating? Okay, we may use questionnaire, survey, okay, interview. So those are the examples of tools that we can use for evaluation. So Bruce Tognazzini tells you why you need to evaluate. Okay, iterative design with its repeating cycle of design and testing is the only validated methodology in existence. So that will consistently produce successful results. So if you don't have user testing as an integral part of your design process, you are going to throw buckets of money down the drain. So it's always useful, okay, or part of the modification or creating a application or software, yung testing phase, okay, user testing phase. So there are types of evaluation. Controlled settings involving users. So example is usability testing and experiments in laboratories and living labs. Natural settings involving users. Example, field studies and in the wild studies to see how the product is used in the real world. Settings not involving users. Okay. Examples to predict, analyze, and more aspects of the interface analytics. Living labs, okay, people use of technology in their everyday lives and can be evaluated in living labs, okay. Such evaluations are too difficult to do in a usability lab. So example, the aware home was embedded with the complex network of sensors and audio video recording devices by Abode, okay, in 2000. The usability testing of field studies can complement, okay, in figure 13.1, examples of the way laboratory-based usability testing and field studies can complement each other. So here is a symbol, this field study to evaluate the initial design ideas and get early feedback. Okay, down to the symbol wherein you're making some design changes. Then this one, usability test to check specific design features. The next one, field study to see what happens when used in a natural environment. And lastly, to make some final design changes. For evaluation case study, okay, experiment to investigate a computer game in the wild field study of skiers and crowdsourcing. So below are the examples of that. The challenges and engagement in collaborative immersive game, physiological measures were used, Players were more engaged when playing against another person than when playing against a computer. What precautionary measures did the evaluators take? So here is an example. Okay. In figure 13.2, the display shows the physiological data. So top right. Okay. Two participants. Okay. And the screen of game they played. So this one. So what does this data tell you? Okay. In table 13.1, mean subjective ratings given on a user satisfaction questionnaire using a 5-point scale, in which 1 is lowest and 5 is the highest for the 10 players. So identifying strongly with an experienced state is indicated by a higher mean. The standard deviation indicates the spread of the result around the mean. So low values indicate the little variation in participants' responses. So the high values indicate more variation. So why study skiers in the wild? So in figure 13.4, in the image A, okay, a skier wearing a helmet with the accelerometer, dark red, okay, dark red is one, and a mini camera, a black cylinder, okay, so placed on it for assessing the skier's performance. And yung B naman, the smartphone that provides feedback to the skiers in the form of visualization. For the e-skiing system components, in figure 13.5, this one, components of this e-skiing system, the back arrow, okay, the back arrow indicates the data transfer between the devices, the server, okay, and the linking system. The arrow shape indicate different types of communication, and the red circles indicate the data collection. What did we learn from the case study? Okay, how to observe users in natural settings. Number 2, unexpected findings resulting from in the wild studies. Having to develop a different data collection and analysis techniques to evaluate user experience, goals such as challenge and engagement. The ability to run experiments on the internet that are quick and expensive using crowdsourcing, and how to recruit a large number of participants using mechanical Turk text, which is yung kanina, yung sa e-skiing. Okay. So these are the evaluation methods. So method, okay, observing, asking user, asking experts, testing, and modeling. For control setting, okay, nakamark siya as X. Natural settings for observing, mark as X. Without the users, mark as blank. Okay. Asking users, mark as X. Natural settings, X. Blank again for the remarks in without users. Asking experts, so naka-blank si controlled settings. Natural settings, X. Without users, X. Okay. Testing, mark as X. Natural setting, okay, blank. Without user, blank. Modeling, for control setting, blank. Natural setting, blank. For without users, okay, nakamark as X. The language of evaluation, analytics, informed consent, form in. Analytical evaluation, the wide evaluation, living, biases, laboratory predictive. Controlled experiment, evaluation, reliability, crowdsourcing is the scope, ecological validity experts, summative evaluation, review or crit field study, usability laboratory studies, formative evaluation, usability testing, users. For heuristic evaluation, it could be usability testing users or participants' validity. The participants' rights and getting their consent. The participants need to be told why the evaluation is being done, what they will be asked to do, and their rights. And informed consent forms provides this information. The design of the informed consent form, okay, the evaluation process, The data analysis and the data storage methods are typically approved by a high authority. So example is institutional review board. For the things to consider when interpreting data, reliability, does the method produce the same results on separate occasions? For the validity, does the method measure what it is intended to measure? For ecological validity, does the environment of the evaluation distort the results? For biases, are there biases that distort the results? And lastly, for the scope, how generalizable are the results? Okay. For the key points, the evaluation and designs are very closely integrated. So some of the some of the same data gathering methods are used in evaluation as for establishing requirements and identifying the user needs. Okay. As what I've discussed, we can use a questionnaire, okay, observation, interviews. For evaluation can be done in controlled settings such as laboratories, less controlled field settings, or where users are not present. Then usability testing and experiment enable the evaluator to have a high level of control over what gets tested. Okay, whereas the evaluators typically impose little or no control on participants in field studies. So that concludes our lecture for week 12, which is interaction designs.